It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Wild Beer Company and it's a bottle of Dr. Todd. It's 9% ABV. It was kindly sent to me by Wild Beer Company, thank you. There's a look at the bottle cap. But in no means will this review be biased in any way because the beer was sent to me. It will be a totally honest beer review. It's got here smoky plus spicy plus honey plus ginger plus barrels. Sounds really interesting for a 9% ABV beer. Without further ado, let's get it out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass then. Ooh, did you see a little bit of that unfiltered goodness there? Just make its way into the bottom of the glass from the bottom of the bottle. Looks great. Here is a look at the carbonation and the colour of the beer. It's got a slight peachy red colour to it. Can you see that? One finger white head. Not expecting too much from a 9% ABV beer in terms of head retention for this style of beer. Whenever you put stuff like ginger, what else? Whenever beer is slightly smoked, spice, honey, the head tends to dissipate quite quickly. But slow moving carbonation, hazy. As I said, they've got a bit of a red hue to the amber coloured beer. Let's get the aroma. Oh my goodness me, wow! Smoke, spice, honey, definitely ginger. It's a bit like, if I'm to explain to you guys through the camera, it's a bit like a smoky barbecue, let's say a smoked campfire. Still got a relative amount of heat to it, and you've thrown on them ingredients. You've thrown on some honey onto the fire, and you've thrown on some ginger, and it just, and some spice they say, and it just kind of crackles a little bit and mixes in with the smokiness of the campfire, and you may get a touch of ginger every now and again. You may get a touch of the spice and the honey, but it's predominantly a smoky aroma. Of course, it's a campfire. That's what I'm getting from this beer. Almost medical like as well. It's almost like sitting in a doctor's surgery. Touch of TCP maybe. But again, that's just a byproduct. That's just the aroma of all of these flavours mixed together. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh. Smoky, campfirey, very drinkable. A very drinkable beer. It hasn't got too much of a kind of a thick, mouthy, malty mouthfeel. That kind of TCP aroma travels through slightly in the flavour. But it's my job as a beer reviewer to say no. It's very amateurish to stick with that line. You have to think about the honey. Yes, it's over there somewhere. Think about that kind of campfire smoke. It's very large. It's very much the predominant flavour. There might be a touch of whiskey, a touch of oakiness coming through. That ginger comes through. The spices come through. It's very Scandinavian, if you like. I've been to Scandinavia a lot. Sweden, Norway, countless times. And they brew up there for us from the UK, up and over. They brew like stuff that they can get their hands on. They forage in the forests and stuff. And I've had some really good wild beers from the Scandinavians. And this is very much reminds me of that style of beer. Maybe the owner or the owners or the brewers of Wild Beer Company have spent some time now in Scandinavia, and they've seen how they brew beer, and they've brought their ideas back from Scandinavia back to the UK, and they're giving it a go themselves. That being said, at 9% ABV, and with all these different flavours involved, this is an obvious one, but I've got to mention it anyway. This is a beer that you probably wouldn't want to session. This is a beer that you would try once on a night, probably at the end of the night, just before you go for that Imperial Stout. You think, right, I'm gonna leave the Imperial Stout till last. I'm gonna have one more beer before the Imperial Stout. This would probably be it. That big range of beers in front of you on the craft beer board or in the book or whatever on the menu, and you've gone, right, yeah, I'm going to go for that spicy one because I want to try something different. And you try it and you would like it, but then you would move on. It's not a beer you go, right, I'll have another one of these. It might even be a beer that you would share, buy a bottle and share the bottle in half with somebody else. But that being said, I like it. It's nice. Look at that slow moving carbonation making its way out of the glass. It's solid. It's a solid beer. Do they say much about this beer then? Exceptional brewing stems from imagination. Blah, 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 blah. That's their general kind of... They probably put that on the back of every bottle. Australian bartender Sam Ross created several enduring drink recipes whilst at Milk and Honey in New York. Most famously the penicillin cocktail. Look at that, the penicillin cocktail. I've not read the back of this bottle. I've been talking about Scandinavia. They're talking about New York. Obviously, I've not read the back of the bottle, but I've mentioned TCP and they've mentioned penicillin, which were along the same lines. A smoky, spicy mix of Scotch, honey and ginger. Since then, it has been reimagined in the kitchen of 11 Madison Park, New York. And our experience of it was an eye-opening triumph on the taste buds, a wow moment. We have thought long and hard about how we could do justice to that memory. This is our riff on the penicillin, an Isle whiskey barrel-aged strong citrus sour beer, brewed with ginger, some lactose, sugar, and aged in barrel with British black bee honey, and finished with more ginger and lemon zest. The penicillin was inspired by the hot toddy invented by the revered Dr. Robert Bentley Todd. There we go. That's all about the beer. I don't think I was too far away when I was talking about Scandinavia. I wasn't that far away with the whole TCP thing either. Let's rate it. Yes, you get the oakiness, you get the barrels. It's quite thin. It's quite thin for a 9% ABV beer. That being said, it's drinkable. You've really got to put your mind into this beer. It's a thinking beer. If you go into this beer tired, you've had a long day of work maybe, and you just up to a session beer, don't open it. Wait for a night when you're ready for it. Because you really have to think about it. You've got to think about the honey, and you've got to think about the citrus and the ginger and the smoke, and how it could so easily just turn into penicillin or TCP, as I've mentioned. I like this one enough to give it a 7. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. I like the idea. I like the fact that they've done something different, but it would only be a beer that I would want to try once. Thanks for watching. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to our daily beer reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! And cheers.